The Read Your Shelf Challenge has been a tough one to slow down book hauls and try just not to buy books, to really just focus on reading books that I already own, which sounds easy, but if you have all the book issues, it's not always that easy. And so I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but honestly, it's gone pretty well. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing an update on the Read Your Shelves Challenge, which is something that I've been kind of just unofficially doing, but I've definitely mentioned, where really, like I said, the focus is just to read what you already have. Stop buying books so darn much, and just focus on reading what you have and trying it. And I wasn't sure how I was going to do with this, but I've really made an effort, and I finally pulled together some stats, and I'm actually really pleased with how it went. Now, I will note that for that video, I specifically looked at how many physical books I had, and out of those physical books, how many that I had read and got a percentage. I have not been the best about actually scanning in new books and scanning out old books for a little bit, so I'm going to need to do that. I will definitely do that for the year end, or the next time you do a check-in, I'll make sure. So I don't have that exact number, but based on the stats that I did pull, I feel like my percentage definitely has been trending in the right direction, and so that's what we're going to talk about is those stats. So first off, as of filming this, I have read 58 books this year so far, which also pretty good. This almost through the 6th month. That's pretty good. That's averaging nearly 10 books a month, which is definitely not what I read every month. Readathon helped in there for sure, but that's a pretty great average. So I'm really happy with that average as well. And I will finish. I should finish at least 2 more books too this month. So hopefully that'll mean that I end up actually with like a solid 60 at 10 a month. So yeah, so I was happy with that number. But the number that actually surprised me a little bit, out of those 58, I had 43 of them that were books that I already owned physically. So that's pretty great. I didn't actually figure out what percentage that is. I should have done that. Let's open up a calculator really quick. So that's... Oh, I forgot how to math for a minute there. Sorry, guys, so unprepared. So about 74, almost 75% of the books that I read this year have been books that I already own physically, which is pretty great. 4 books otherwise on top of that were books that I did buy physically before I actually read them. So they were things that I bought and then read within a pretty close span as well. So that still makes it so that it's a pretty good one. And then I did read 11 books where it was either like a digital copy or a library copy or something like that, where I do not physically own the book. Like I said, out of that too, a couple of those I ended up getting after, like Annihilation was one that I got a copy afterwards, after I read it from the library. So that still was only 11 books out of my 58 that I read that were books I didn't own, which is about 19%. So still it's pretty good. Pretty good. So you have the 5% that's kind of the mix in there, but I was pretty happy with those numbers because I do a lot of reading on my Kindle and doing audio and that kind of thing as well too. I usually always have an audiobook going, a Kindle book, and a physical. What I had focused on, which had worked really well for me, is multi-formatting the same book. So if I can get, if my library has the audio and the ebook for a book that I also own physically, well, I'll do that. And so I'll read the physical book during the day, I'll read the ebook at night, and then I'll listen to the audio like throughout the day if I have time to do that kind of thing. So that helped a lot, where I'm still doing the different formats, but I'm focusing on doing it for books that I already physically own. I did also have 11 DNFs, and then 6 books, at least, I feel like I had more than that, but from my note anyway, 6 books that were moved to the on-haul. Some of this was like they were later books in the series that was part of the DNF, that type of thing. So I got a lot of books read and got some books on-haul, and with that between the DNFs, which also end up being on-hauls, that's 17 books, and I've probably gotten more than 17 books this year so far, but my book hauls have been pretty reasonable, like I said, and some of them have been things that I read and then wanted to just get a copy of, like that too. So overall it's going pretty good. I don't feel like I have a ton extra space necessarily, although I have like some of my bottom shelves that you can't see are a little bit lighter, and it's just been nice to actually get to a lot of things that I've wanted to get to for a while. There have been a few things like, I started Guy Gabriel K, and I have a ton of his books, but then of course the second one I read is one I don't have, so I ended up buying a copy of that to immediately read. So there are some things like that too, and I'm of course going to be throwing in random stuff and doing that kind of thing. And I also, of course, still have a ton more that I would like to try, but I'm feeling good about this because it's been good to focus. And throughout, there's been things that I've just decided after reading, like, yeah, I read this, I don't think I'd reread it, and getting rid of. And so I definitely want to keep this up for the rest of the year, with really focusing on things that I already have, and making sure that I'm just finally getting some things. So hopefully in the latter half of the year, I'm not going to do the whole thing where I'm like, these are the series that I'm going to get to, because it feels like if I make one of those lists, it becomes cursed to not happen and have me not get to those series and titles. So we won't do that. But I still have a lot of multiple books and series that I really need to try out and see, because if I have a long series and I try the first book, I'm like, oh, this isn't for me, well, then I can get rid of several books all at once too, and make room for the other ones that I have already. So yeah, it's been going pretty well, and I definitely plan to keep it going. But that's really it for this one. So let me know, what are your thoughts if you're doing this challenge, or just if you have ever done that where you try to really focus on what you have, or are you one of the people who's actually really good about keeping a smaller amount of books, or specifically reading your books, or only buying books after you've read them, that type of thing, which I certainly am not. But I'm always interested in what other people's habits and or experiences are with that kind of thing as well. Because for me, I know my book collection has gotten a little out of control, and it's always going to be large because I'm a rereader, and I like to keep books that I really enjoy as well and display and that kind of thing. But finally getting through some of the stuff has been good too. So that's it for this one, though. Kind of a short one. Just wanted to do an update since we're about at the midway point of the year. But make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books. Whether, well, I didn't actually talk about any books, but just books. Any of the books that you see, any books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.